Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to another GBHL YouTube channel video. You're here with channel host GBHL James
and GBHL Jamie, and this is the Warriors of Durin's Folk.
All part of our Free People's Week, which has been coming to you every single day this week, and probably a little bit beyond, because there's quite a few videos, isn't there?
There's quite a lot of videos, and also we get separated out by Speak for Any Question and Plans it.
We certainly do. It's a fantastic source book. Just put that in. It's been one of my favourites to review.
Definitely.
So we did talk about the heroes of the dwarves last time. So now we are on to the warriors, and also an opportunity to talk about what kind of armies and what kind of role they fill on the battlefield, where they struggle. So what do we get first of all, Jamie?
First of all, we're starting off.
Pull the curtain to a little bit because it's right on my face.
Yeah, no worries. It is the Dwarf Warrior himself. So 8 points, basic, movement 5, fight 4 with a 4+ shoot value, strength 3, defense 6, 1 attack, 1 wound, courage 4, and they wear dwarf armour.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Cheers, James.
Bilbo says yes.
They come with a banner for 25 points, a war horn for 20, a dwarf bow for 1 point, a two-handed weapon for 1 point, and a shield for 1 point.
So already their main strength there is highlighted. It's the defense, isn't it?
Defense 6 basic, and the shield taking them up to defense 7 is good. But also they have a role to play with their dwarf bows as well. Because the dwarf bow is 18-inch range, strength 3, and their defense 6 basic. So everyone bar Urukai will be wounded them on 6s with shooting.
That's pretty good.
So it is decent. They make good archers.
That is pretty good. Now the Dwarf Warrior itself, I don't think we see as much basic Dwarf Warriors as you would think, because you think that it's pretty good standard infantry. 8 points, pretty good.
8 points basic, just for that profile, 8 points is good. 8
points is good. I think you would always take a shield, because then you're getting the true benefit of taking a dwarf. He's got funky juice.
Yeah, it's from the last video. Still got it. It's getting more and more concentrated.
I think just
leave
stop drinking when you've got an inch above.
Yeah.
And if anything gets wrong with you, you weren't here. I'm not saying you.
I'd chew my way through it.
I've seen Friends where he drinks the stuff from the fridge.
I will have seen it. I've just got recording it.
So Dwarf Warrior, we don't see as many of them as I think you might think, and I think a big reason for that is because they've got so many great elites. Yeah. Nice plastic setup.
Very, very good, very nice.
Nice plastics. A lot of people prefer the old aesthetic.
Yeah, I do. That's a lie. I like the new Grimhammers. Don't like the new Dwarf Warrior. The new Dwarf Erebor Warriors. Don't like. I like the new Grimhammers. I think the new Grimhammers fit really well with this list. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Face masks.
They can fulfil a variety of roles like a lot of basic troops can, but I would say that the most time that you're going to see them is either with that dwarf bow. If people make that choice, there is a conundrum whether people go one way or another, which we'll come to.
Do you go bows? Do you go shields?
Exactly. But not just that. This next guy.
This next guy, I don't think it's a conundrum at all. But
you don't. Ooh.
Next up, we've got the Dwarf Ranger. He is 7 points basic. He is fight 4 with a 3+ shoot value, strength 3, defense 5, 1 attack, 1 wound, courage 4. He comes with armour. For 3 points, you can take a dwarf longbow, which is just a bow. 3 points for throwing axes, which is just throwing axes. 1 point for a two-handed weapon. And it has a special rule, Mountain Dweller. Dwarf Rangers can reroll any jump or climb tests and move through rocky areas in a class of difficult terrain as if it were open.
Okay. You don't tend to get many rocky areas, do we?
No, not particularly.
Not particularly. Get woodland terrain, but not really rocky areas.
Yeah.
Maybe something that should change to sway the meta.
Sway the meta. Dwarf Rangers, OP.
Dwarf Rangers versus anything woodland creature.
Yeah. So for 10 points is what you like. If you want to take the benefit of this guy's 3+ shoot value, you're going to need to pay in at least 10 points for them all. Is it worth it for a strength 2 bow? For a strength 2 bow that hits on a 3+, which is essentially a 4+.
You do get the extra range though. One thing that I remember playing, I've played against a couple of lists where they've taken a lot of sort of dwarf bows. In fact, when I first learned the game with Pete Hashut's Blessing, it's dangerous that, isn't it? Don't slurp too much.
The waters seem to have risen.
I've got no idea what it is. He took dwarf archers the first couple of times, and what he was finding when he was playing against my shooting stuff was that
you could outrange him.
Was that I was always outranging him, and that was the issue. That versus other shooting, he really struggled. Never got them to come into play, which of course not great. What?
So just laughing at Bilbo.
He's a ticking time bomb.
Attempting to get up the sofa being just a little bit too small.
Bilbo. Don't make a home over by the wires. I know what you do. Then we go and be daddy dog while you finish up talking about them.
Yeah, so Dwarf Rangers, the conundrum between them is you take a Dwarf Ranger with longbow or a Dwarf Warrior with a Dwarf Bow. The trade-off being that the Dwarf Ranger hits easier at a longer range and at strength 2, whereas the Dwarf Warrior hits harder but at a shorter range, and with 4 pluses if he's not moving.
So do we tend to see which way?
Now, I personally fall in the Dwarf Warrior with Dwarf Bow because I think strength 3 is just that strength that you can really start to puncture through things at strength 3.
So you are an elf. So you are used to it.
So I'm used to it.
You're used to it. But what do you guys think? It's a really interesting debate, so it'd be good to see in the comment section below. Are you part of the Dwarf Ranger camp? Or are you part of the Dwarf Warrior with bow camp? Let us know.
My other sort of point of it is that the Dwarf Ranger is defense 5 basic. So your warriors can be thrown in to fights with much less regard for their lives as the Dwarf Ranger, because the Dwarf Ranger dies to 5s in combat.
Dwarf Ranger does come with a hand axe on him though, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, so he can pierce and strike.
Pierce and strike. In the dwarf list, a lot of times, I know that the axes of the dwarves, most dwarves have axes, but you model with axes, but you probably don't do it because you want to protect
But not the Dwarf Warriors with bow. Their models have swords.
They have swords?
There's swords.
Yeah.
So you can feint.
Yes.
No.
So there we go. So next up we're going to come to one of, in my opinion, one of the best elite units in the game.
Yeah. We have got the almighty Iron Guard.
Ooh.
So 15 points is the same points as a Berserker and very sort of similar in stat line. They are Fight 4 with a 4 plus shoot value,
Good.
Strength 4, Defense 6, 2 attacks, 1 wound and Courage 4.
So immediately you got a lot of the standard stuff there, but the introduction of Strength 4 is key.
Yeah.
And 2 attacks, well.
2 attacks is great.
And we know how great 2 attacks are on models. We see them obviously all the time with Damien Spells and Berserkers,
Sons of Ale, and the Iron Guard as well. And they come with Dwarf Armour and throwing axes and are modelled with a throwing axe or axe and a sword.
And does this mean that you can pierce and strike or feint?
I say you can choose at the start of the game.
Choose at the start.
Choose what you do, but don't differentiate.
Now, they are very expensive. 15 points is a lot.
It is.
It is a lot. One thing that I always think when thinking about these 2 attack models is I think, well, let's half those attacks. So even though you're not getting the same number of wounds, effectively, but let's say that you get half the attacks, would you rather have, attack-wise, for 15 points, so effectively 7.5 points per attack, or have to pay for a warrior and then support him with the shield to get the 2 attacks, or pay 25 points for a banner to get the other attack? So when you start looking at it like it's a little bit better. But interestingly, where does the Iron Guard fall down ever so slightly in the dwarf list?
It's the defence, isn't it? Defence 6. Defence 6 is too low.
It becomes dead squishy, which is crazy because defence 6 in other armies is
good strong 6. Whereas now it's like, well, it's easy for me to kill the Iron Guard, it's just 6s, and I'll go kill them.
Yeah, and a lot of the time you'll find that players playing against dwarf armies will try and take them down first as target priority. You know, especially if you've got strength 2 bows, it's going to be much easier. Do we see a lot of these guys?
Yes. They are a very nice addition to a dwarf force. They bring a little bit of a range to it with throwing axes. They're not too much because they're probably hitting on 5s, but it's the fact that they can sort of gang up on a model and reliably kill it. Yeah.
They're good looking models as well.
Yeah, they are very cool.
They're good looking models. And of course they do give you that option with the 2 attacks. In a dwarf army, which is probably going to be quite small anyway, 2 attacks can be key, just like we talked about before with shielding.
That you can actually then capitalise on the kills.
Certainly can.
I think next we'll go to the Kazakh Guard.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And we'll do the guards first.
As a direct comparison.
So as a comparison between the 2, then we go to the Kazakh Guard. These are 11 points each, so 4 points cheaper than the Iron Guard. They fight 4 with 4 plus shoot value, all dwarves fight 4. Strength 4, so they keep that. Defense 7, 1 attack, 1 wound, courage 4. They have dwarf heavy armour and a 2-handed axe. And they've got bodyguard Durin's Folk. At the start of the game, choose 1 hero of Durin's Folk amongst your force. All these models will pass the courage test as long as that model is on the table.
So we all know how useful bodyguard is in the game.
It's incredible.
Game. Very important. And again, in a dwarf force, which if it's a small number, can get broken.
Get broken, and then these just don't go.
Yeah.
Because you've got your big beefy hero from before who's not dead yet.
So you're taking away your throwing axis, but let's say that you're getting your
dwarf heavy armor.
Yeah, for that. You've got your defense 7 versus your defense 6. I think you see a lot more Kazakh Guard.
Oh yeah, lots of Kazakh Guard.
Lots of Kazakh Guard. It tends to be
it's a strength 4 on the front line that really does it for them.
And quite good value.
11 points, definitely so.
11 points is really, really good value. Now my thing, and I've only started thinking this later on, sort of playing the game, my thing when I look at Kazakh Guard now is that whole thing of, would I rather have an Iron Hills veteran and the ability to shield in that smaller force supported by Iron Guard, rather than Kazakh Guard supported by Iron Guard, and you've got these guys doing your chopping and your other guys doing your holding up.
The only downside with that, and when I've written lists, is that Murin, you have to take Murin and draw. And there are a lot of points. You don't, if you take Murin and draw, you don't get Dane, you don't get Durin. You get 2 mediocre heroes. And Gimli, Floyd, Balin.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the flip side, is that you get good troops, but you don't get the...
Or even just taking a Dwarf Warrior with shield instead. A Dwarf Warrior with shield.
2 points more. And you get the fight. You get strength 7. Strength 4, sorry.
It's a tough one. Just because you'll see this if you play against Dwarf lists a bit.
The thing is,
certain things they really struggle with.
Yeah.
But I mean they're a good solid list. They tend to sort of always be there or thereabouts. Me and Jamie used to famously, before a particular tournament, say that they're never quite always risking it.
Look at that. You probably can't see it because
they won't be able to see, but there's like
oh man, no,
I'm not kind of infestation.
I'm not going
to do it. Bits. Go on, man up. Go on, do it. Down
you
it.
Do it.
I'm on a diet.
Oh,
it's sugar in that. I've been living on bacon cheeseburgers for 3 weeks. Come on.
Yes, that's the Kazakh Guard.
That's the Kazakh Guard.
Very good troop. Very popular.
Yeah, the first models that I ever owned.
Yeah. It was so for me. I think I bought Dwarf Rangers first, threw them in the bin, and got Kazakh Guard.
Yeah. Again, they're all nice models. Dwarf Ranger, we didn't even mention that. Dwarf Rangers are a nice model.
They are, yeah. I just painted them awfully.
And then we've got something which is really different in the game.
Yeah, a little bit unique.
Very unique.
We have a Vault Warden team. So 25 points for 2 models, 1 Iron Shield and 1 Faux Spear. The Iron Shield is movement 5, fight 4, 4+ shoot value, strength 4, defense 9, 1 attack, 1 movement and courage 4.
Defense 9s, so far the only things that we've seen with those defense 9s have been like big heroes.
Big dwarven heroes, I think.
Durin heroes, yeah.
So he has dwarf heavy armor and shield, which is, I think it's actually called it's the Iron Shield.
Yeah.
Big tower shield. And his friend, the Faux Spear, is fight 4 for the 4+ shoot value, strength 4, defense 5 in the book, but errated to be defense 6.
Yeah.
1 attack, 1 wound, and courage 4. And he has dwarf armor and the spear. And they have a special rule: spear and shield. The weight of the Iron Shield is so heavy that he basically can't attack. He gets -1 to win the fight, unless he's supported by a model with a spear.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's very, very good. Very good.
So you recommend they work in pairs, and I mean, even if your Iron Shield loses his spearman, he's defense 9, so his man to fight's not terrible because he's probably not going to get.
Yeah, where you tend to see these guys, I think, used very effectively is versus pinning down heroes.
Yeah, they just sort of
stopping heroes from being able to heroic combat.
That was what was it? Middle of Studious Warband?
Yeah, he did that to me.
Yeah, that's where I was like, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was that.
It's in my mind.
That was the elf captain.
Oh yeah, let's not talk about it. It was
the shield against the elf.
I'm still wounded. And well, it's branded in my mind now that these guys are very good at pinning down. Even strength 4 is going to really struggle.
6 is 4, 6 is 4.
Yeah, and it might take might as well to take it down. And you're not going to heroic combat
against them. Even just one of them.
Yeah.
So even with 3 dice,
you can just keep it around. Just keep pinning down the hero. If you can get priority and get it on a hero, then it frees up the rest of your army. I think to do some cool stuff. Yeah.
I think you can put your spear support behind another hero.
Pushka.
But make that worse. And both strength 4, so you're still keeping that sort of eliteness about them. And finally, we have a dwarf ballista.
Oh, so very interestingly, this wouldn't have even been talked about until Smaug came out.
Well,
I've not heard them talk
I disagree. I think I've talked about dwarf ballista in the past as a way of taking down the fell beasts.
Oh yes, yeah, you have actually. Yeah,
taken 2 and
you're
set them
right.
up. But dwarf ballista now is actually very, very good for dealing with Smaug. So Dwarf Ballista, 60 points. So not too expensive.
Captain price, isn't it?
Yeah. It's crewed by 2 Dwarf Warriors wearing Dwarf armour, and they've got the standard Dwarf Warrior profile. You can buy a Dwarf Engineer Captain for 75 points. Oh, that's why we need the rulebook. Superior Construction, 20 points. Flaming Ammunition, 15. Siege Veterans, 15 points. And additional Dwarf Warrior crew, 8 points. I think none of those make a difference really in the...
And we've discussed them in
siege games.
We have discussed those rules before in the Isengard, I believe.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So if you want to know what any of those do, go and check out our Fallen Realms week. That was well swerved. Yeah. That was so good.
The Isengard week. Warriors of Isengard.
Fantastic hosting. Yeah, that was good.
Well done. So special rules. This is really sort of where the dwarf. So it's strength 9, defense 10, with 3 battle points for the actual ballista itself. Piercing shot. Although a stone fired from a dwarf ballista is unlikely to pass through multiple targets, any models behind the initial victim are invariably showered in shards of rock and shrapnel and body parts. Such razor sharp fragments are more likely to kill you. So the model that is hit is knocked back d6 inches, sort of like a sorcerer's blast. The initial target takes a strength 6 hit and is knocked to the ground. Everyone else also suffers a strength 6 hit. Wait, let me read this. Oh, strength of the siege engine. So you get first guy strength 9.
Yeah.
Everyone else takes a strength 6 hit, and they're all knocked over.
That's good.
If the model is strength 5 or less,
yeah, and then you're knocked to the ground if they're.
And if you take strength 6, you inflict a single strength 6 hit upon it.
Yeah. So basically, if you're strength 5 or below, you'll
get knocked over with it. The model hit though is always knocked to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they are accurate, so they will only scatter 3 inches rather than 6 inches if you roll that sort of 2 to 5 on the to hit chart.
Nice.
So they are good.
So how does it weigh up against other siege ballistas? Because there's a few, of course. We've got Gondor.
So the Gondor is the Avenger Bolt Thrower would be their equivalent of ballista, which is a different kettle of fish. Gondor don't really have one. It'd be the Orc Ballista and the Isengard Ballista that'll be the comparisons. And I believe they still scatter the 6 inches and obviously have their 4+5+ to do. I really rate the Dwarf Ballista. I think it's got good potential.
I've seen it used, I think, JT.
JT, you'd like some, yeah.
JT likes them quite a bit.
I think I've got one.
Nice little model as well.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's a nice little model. Again, running right through the Durin's Folk list, has got some very, very nice models.
Yeah.
What are you doing? It's like, it is, I've said to Jamie before, having a puppy is like buckaroo. You know he's going to poo at any moment. But you don't know when. Yeah. And he teases you. And that takes us to the end of the Dwarf Warriors. Are Durin's Folk lists popular?
The most popular.
Yeah, they're really
most popular.
And there are some gorgeous ones out there as well. Yes. I think they're a very good, we've both mentioned this quite a few times, along with Isengard, that Dwarves are a very good beginner's army.
Yeah, forgiving. It's the defence, isn't it?
Yeah, the defence is very forgiving.
Defence, the heroes are cool, they can fight their way out of a scrap.
I think it's quite appealing as well. One of the reasons why I picked up the Kazakh Guard early on is because I think one of the first questions that I asked before I knew what the game was
what's the best troop Kazakh Guard?
What's the best infantry?
Yeah.
And someone said the Kazakh Guard, for the point.
So you bought them straight away?
So I bought them straight away. Just shows what kind of a scumbag I am. Then I sold them, of course, and got some Rohan! Woohoo! Oh, Grey Company actually, it was Grey Company.
Infantry?
I got Grey Company, that's all of it. Because I preferred the models. Got Halbrand.
I might need you.
So we do see a lot of them out there, and we have infamously commented in the past that they always are there or thereabouts.
Yeah, they never won an event, but they did win an event recently.
They did.
Well, last year.
And as with any winning of an event, not just for a dwarf army, obviously a certain sequence of things have to all kind of come off for you.
Yeah.
Oh, fair play, because
well done.
We weren't sure whether it was going to happen, and it was was it a traditional, or was it a mix of the two?
Mix of the two. There was Thorin.
Thorin was
Thorin and Dwarf Spears.
Thorin was good. Yeah, that was good. But there was nothing else that was sort of stand-out-ish.
Not particularly. It was all dwarves. There was no like Alfred. There was no
nothing in there to make it scumbaggy. And that was Callum Eden. So any of you dwarf players want to give him a pat on the back or Dubakar or whatever you headbutt. Who was I speaking to? Who was I speaking to?
Headbutt someone.
Yes, you did headbutt someone. You headbutted someone at my wedding. Who was I talking to?
Yeah. Is it Neil?
It might be Neil.
He was beardy. He's got a beard. I probably duplicated him.
I think you might have done. I'm trying to think who else I might have spoken to. who said that. And then I did inform him that when we were in Nottingham, you headbutted a girl in a club, so not in obviously that kind of way. Yeah. She quickly went off, yeah.
I don't think anyone would. This stranger just headbutted me.
Yeah.
Not in an aggressive way.
Yeah.
In a friendly way, but.
So Jamie came to my wedding, you know, got really drunk, headbutted people.
Standard.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, yeah. They have managed to do okay, and I think that dwarves, new dwarves as well, like the mixture of the two together. We talked about this when we've unboxed new Hobbit stuff as well. When they're mixed together, there is quite a nice synergy there.
Yeah.
People do like the aesthetic, although you are seeing it the other way around a little bit now, where people are converting things to look the other way. So
yeah, so people want the Kazakhs to look like Grimhammers.
Yes, that's right. So they'll put axes on the Grimhammers and stuff. So they're pretty good. Now, what are dwarves good at?
Not dying.
Like not dying.
Was that where you go for something else?
No, kind of. Okay. Yeah, they are. You keep them together as a pretty solid block. Yeah. You don't really want them to get separated too much because they do tend to be smaller armies.
Yeah, tend to be about sort of 25 or so.
Yeah, it's a tough one with dwarves. 'Cause, like, let's say at 500 points, you're not getting 3-4 warbands.
No, it's like elves. You get this sort of 2 full good warbands and then a bit of something
and
like a hero.
A little hero or something. Yeah. It's so in that respect, one of the reasons why I've always found them quite easy to take down for the most part when it's just pure dwarves is
they're not going to reach you or threaten you.
They're not going to reach you or threaten me, so they end up splitting up. No, not killing them with shooting. Apart from my iron guard. The weakness of the force, but the fact that you can isolate them and charge them with 4 attacks, it's negating their high defense and stuff. So those are the things that kind of take them down. But they're very good at countering a lot of the strength 4 that's out there.
Yeah.
A lot of strength 4. So we hope you've enjoyed our 2 videos on the dwarves. That does mean that next we have the Fellowship.
No.
No.
The Shire.
I was sure I was right. God damn it. We've got the Shire next, which we're going to be talking about in one video, which will be coming to you tomorrow. Don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe.
Support me on Patreon.
Support your Hobbit hobby.
And happy strategy battle game.
We do still have a Twitter and Facebook though.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Get on them as well.